Number 12. Jordan Gritter. Jordan Gritter's disappearance has remained a mystery since 2018, when his camping site was discovered in northern Minnesota. The 29-year-old man had decided to go camping by himself at the peak of winter. The Appalachian Trail can be extremely dangerous during that time of year, but he was determined to take on that challenge. Since he was a survivalist and loved being outdoors, his family didn't worry when he failed to contact them. Police would have probably been contacted much later had Gritter not parked his truck in a private area of the trail. When they finally discovered his camping site, police noticed a large amount of blood in a hammock and sleeping bag. It took authorities several days to discover bones belonging to Gritter's hand and arm. Most of his body hasn't been discovered up to 2020. It's been speculated he was devoured by wolves after some kind of accident. Number 11. Unnamed camper. While camping in British Columbia, an unnamed man became the victim of a predatory attack. He was sleeping in his tent when a bear unexpectedly savaged him, leaving him with severe injuries. The man was accompanied by a friend who was resting in a nearby tent. With his help, the victim managed to make it to safety. They called the emergency services, and the injured man was airlifted to the hospital. The local sheriff told the press that the bear in question hadn't been attracted by food, but rather seemed to have been defending its territory. No further reports have been made regarding the man's health, but he reportedly survived the dangerous encounter. Number 10. Cody Young and Jan Pearson Jenkins. In July of 2019, Cody Young and Jan Pearson Jenkins went camping near Silver City. The woman was 20 years Young's senior, and they were in a relationship. Only Young returned from their trip, and he told Pearson Jenkins' family that he'd left the woman behind as he'd become tired of her. The family contacted the police, and a full investigation was launched. The 64-year-old woman was thought to be lost in the woods, but her situation was far worse than was initially thought. Her body was found 8 days later. Young was charged with second-degree felony manslaughter. While in custody, Young told authorities that he'd been using methamphetamine with the older woman, and she ended up having a bad reaction to the drug. Pearson Jenkins' cause of death was listed as hypothermia, accelerated by her drug use. She'd also suffered blunt trauma to her head, torso, and limbs. Number 9. Justin Ott. Justin Ott and his family decided to go camping near Lake Roosevelt. Their day of sightseeing, however, was cut short by a tragic incident. It was Memorial Weekend, and Ott was trekking close to the cliff at Workman Creek's Falls. It's not known exactly what caused the accident, but the young man suffered a massive fall, resulting in his death. Though first responders arrived soon after, they were unable to revive Ott, and he was declared dead at the scene. Number 8. Unnamed couple. A couple whose identities weren't released to the public rented a spot on a private Colorado campground in May of 2020. They were sleeping in their tent when they heard rattling just outside. Someone was rummaging through their campsite. Before they could go out and check what was going on, they realized it wasn't a person, but rather a wild animal that was going through their cooking stove and table. A bear then charged towards their tent, causing it to collapse. The woman suffered scratches on her head but wasn't further injured. When the couple started screaming, the bear began to retreat. To ensure it escaped, they turned on the car's alarm, further startling the wild animal. Fortunately, the incident didn't escalate any further. Though authorities were notified, no measures were taken to capture the bear. Number 7. Jolie Harris. While enjoying a camping trip with her girlfriend, Jolie Harris searched windpipe location and antifreeze online. Harris seemed to be interested in whether antifreeze had a distinct taste or not, as well as how long it took a human to die after drinking it. A few days later, the couple was discovered by a camper, lying under a blanket. Her partner was unresponsive, and Harris claimed they'd been attacked by strangers. The police arrived soon after, and the victim was declared dead. She had bled profusely from a wound on her head and had sustained a deep cut to her throat. Harris, on the other hand, had only suffered minor wounds in the alleged attack. Without any evidence that anyone else had been on the scene, Harris became the main suspect. Though she was charged with her partner's murder, no information about her trial has been released up to the recording of this video. Number 6. Family trip. While out camping, the family of 3 suffered a terrible accident that ended with the death of the father and young child. The mother was taken to the ER in serious condition. Nigel Warman, along with his son Liam and his wife Loud, had been camping in Wedge Island in Australia when something went wrong with their camping equipment. They were discovered lying unresponsive on the beach when the police arrived. The child and his father were already dead, but the woman was flown to the closest hospital, over 100 miles away. The victims had been gassed to death in their tent. It's theorized that they tried moving outside to escape the toxic fumes released by a faulty fridge. Unfortunately, it was already too late for 2 of the 3 family members. Along with Nigel and Liam, their dog, Ava, also perished in the tragic accident. Number 5. Johan Jacobus Koot. The island of Svalbard, located in the Arctic Ocean, has a small human population of around 3,000 people. It's estimated that there are over 1,000 bears living on the island, making the accidents involving wild animals a far more frequent occurrence than in most other locations. Johan Jacobus Koot worked as a manager for a local campsite. The island had become a popular destination for tourists wanting to enjoy the local fauna. While sleeping in one of the tents, he was attacked by a polar bear. Another camper managed to shoot at the wild animal but didn't arrive in time to rescue Koot. He was rushed to the nearest hospital where he was declared dead soon after. The injured bear was discovered close to an airstrip, having perished from its wounds. Number 4. Esther Nakajigo and Ludwig Michaud. Newlyweds Esther Nakajigo and Ludwig Michaud decided to take a trip together to Utah's Arches National Park. They were celebrating the first anniversary of the day they'd met through a dating app. While traveling from their camping site to an ice cream parlor, an unsecured gate was thrown at their car by strong winds in a freak accident that ended the lives of the young husband and wife. The door cut through the car. The newlyweds' families sued the park soon after their deaths. They blamed authorities for their negligence in failing to put a basic padlock to keep the gate secured. Nakajigo's parents were asking for $30 million in damages, while Michaud's demand was over $240 million. Number 3. Patrick Madura. 43-year-old Patrick Madura went on a camping trip to the Great Smoky Mountains. He traveled alone, having booked a site in a remote area. With no other campers around, his body went unnoticed for days. It was only when backpackers hiked near his campsite that his mauled corpse was discovered. They were forced to leave the area in order to call for help. When authorities finally arrived, they discovered a bear feeding on the man's remains. Due to the extensive damage to Madura's body, it was impossible to determine whether he died as a result of a bear attack or was attacked post-mortem. Rangers killed the bear, which weighed an estimated 240 pounds. Today's topic was requested by Kevin Bogies, Sneha Singh, and Mumbi Wahome. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Gabriel Alexander. In 2015, Gabriel Alexander went camping with his father at the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. He was sleeping in a hammock when he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his scalp. Alexander's father was awakened by screams and witnessed the young man being viciously attacked by a bear. The wild animal dragged Alexander off his hammock by clamping its powerful jaws on his head. The desperate father tried to get the bear to let go of his son. His attempts only worked when he managed to strike the beast's face. Alexander was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries to his head. Fortunately, the 16-year-old survived the encounter, though he required extensive plastic surgery to fix his scars, as well as home health care after being released from the hospital. Number 1. Maxine Bainton. Maxine Bainton and her husband had spent the day trekking before meeting up with their 4 sons for lunch at a pub. They returned to their camping site in Pistill, Wales soon after. Bainton's husband claimed they'd had a bottle of wine each through the day. He headed over to his camper van to rest for the night, while his wife decided to stay up a while longer. When he woke up at around 1 a.m., Bainton's husband was surprised to notice his wife hadn't come to bed. He found her lying face down on the ground and immediately called for help. Bainton, however, was already dead. An autopsy revealed she had over 4 times the legal driving limit, and her death was attributed to alcohol intoxication. Coroners explained the levels of ethanol they discovered were incredibly high, and it essentially poisoned Bainton. It's likely the amount of alcohol was even higher at the moment of death. Thanks for watching. Would you sleep in a small tent outside every night for the rest of your life if it meant you'd get $1 million in return to do so? Let us know in the comments section below.